Yo, yo, what's up, man? It's the one and only hip hop gamer, Hot 97, Logitech G is going down, baby. So real quick, man, I want to give a big shout out to Geoff Keighley. He did a dope interview with my boy Michael Pachter, you know what I'm saying? And it was dope. They brought the bonus round back. But also, I want to give another shout out to myself because there's an article going on right now, like on various websites, comicbook.com. A lot of people is picking it up and they talking about the price that Microsoft is probably going to be cheaper, $100 cheaper than the PlayStation 5, because the PlayStation 5 is very ambitious and everybody's talking about it. So when I saw it, I was like, oh shoot, that's dope. They covered my story. But then when I saw it, they had reference Geoff Keighley and the bonus round and stuff like that. And I was like, that's dope. That's cool if they didn't know, you know what I'm saying? But once again, I'm the original source. You know what I'm saying? That all came from me. All right. His joint, I think, was published May 7th. Mine was published May 5th. Yeah, May 5th. You know what I'm saying? Either way, I'm the original source. So I just wanted to get everything straight. You know what I'm saying? Because, this is games journalism. And when you're dealing with journalism, you got to deal with facts. And when you're dealing with facts, you're dealing with me. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody, but I just want to get things straight. And if you don't believe me, let's roll the footage. And for those websites and everybody that's covering it, like comicbook.com and everybody, y'all show me love. Y'all covered everything correctly before. I just wanted to make sure that y'all continue getting it right, like how y'all got it right before when I, did my other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So roll the footage. One love and God bless. HipHopGamer, man. You know the best is. Let's go, baby. First question, man. How do you how do you feel Xbox is doing in terms of getting their message out, rolling things out, obviously in comparison to the way they rolled out the Xbox One back in 2013, 2012, that time. How do you feel Phil Spencer is doing in terms of leading the charge at Xbox and as well as being competitive against the PlayStation?
You know, Let me answer that a little differently. Sony's different this time around. Jim Ryan's in charge, and he wasn't in charge for any of the last several launches. It really might be different. The competitive landscape might be different this time. I think that Sony and Microsoft this cycle have flipped positions. Microsoft launched with the Xbox One. It was just too expensive, and it had Kinect in it. None of us wanted it, and it had tough digital rights management, and everybody got pissed. And Sony, one day later, same morning, I guess, I'm sorry, same day. So Microsoft announced all that in the morning on a Monday, and that night, if you remember, Adam Boyes handed Shu Yoshida a disc and said, "Here's our digital rights management. You can play games with your friends." And they priced it $100 cheaper, and they won. I mean, they just won. So I think Phil, who wasn't, the head of Xbox back in 2013, it was Don Matrick. I think Phil learned from that disaster, and I think that Sony under Jim Ryan is probably a smarter, better run company than it was probably under whoever was Andy House, I guess, back then.
Yeah.
It might have been Kaz Hirai. But I actually think Jim's super smart. The problem is, I think the PlayStation 5 is too ambitious and going to be too expensive. And I think that opens up an opportunity for Microsoft to just price their console $100 cheaper than Sony. So you notice neither guy's told us what their console costs yet.
Yeah,
And I don't think Microsoft's going to do that next week. Next week they're going to show games. And I think each side is waiting for the other to blink. And Sony kind of blinked. They said, we're not going to make very many PS5s because they're going to be really expensive. And we don't think demand will require us to get that many out. If Microsoft charges $100 less, if it's 400 and Sony is 500, then I think the Xbox, what's it called, Series X, yeah, is going to be all these Xbox names drive me crazy. Anyway, I think the Xbox Series X is going to sell super well. Now, the big hurdle isn't the U.S. because I think Microsoft will win the next generation in the U.S. if Sony prices $100 higher. The big problem is that PlayStation owners outside they're so loyal to their console. It's like Democrats and Republicans internationally. And so it's like if you're a Republican, 90% Trump approval rating, and it doesn't matter that Democrats it's a 10% approval rating. And that's how Sony and Microsoft work outside the US. So, that's going to be a tough thing to overcome, and that's why Microsoft's been on a studio buying spree. I think you're going to get a lot of really interesting content announcements, coming from them. But so the answer is, I think Phil's doing a great job. I think Jim Ryan's a tougher competitor than Andy House was and Kaz Hirai before that. And so we'll see. If Microsoft announces $400 first, Sony's going to kind of have to price it at $400, and they may not be able to afford to do that, but they're going to kind of have to do it. So be interesting to see.
What do you now? After this, how do you think Sony approaches it with PlayStation 5? They've been very quiet, right, so far. Do you think this will impact Sony's strategy at all?
Well, my understanding was they had planned something for GDC, and they passed. So, kind of waiting to see what their big reveal is. I truly think, we're kind of back to where we were in 2013 when Sony was scared to death that Microsoft was going to launch, the Xbox One at $349, and Sony wasn't going to be able to match the price, and they got lucky. The Series or Xbox One with Kinect was $500. I think they're both waiting for the other guy to blink, and I think Sony doesn't realize Microsoft doesn't. GAF. I mean, they'll wait. They're going to wait. I don't think we're getting a price until a day after Sony gives us a price, and Sony's going to have to say $500. So that's the big open question. When is Sony going to say $500? What is consumer reaction going to be to that? The company has already said we're going to be supply constrained by design because we don't think there'll be that much demand, and we don't want to take a big loss on these things. Sony doesn't have $50 billion in the bank the way Microsoft does. They can't sit around, and subsidize every box. So, frankly, I think Microsoft is in the driver's seat right now. But again, this is just like politics, religion, colleges, European football teams. You have your favorite, and that's who you root for no matter what. PlayStation fans are rooting for Sony. Xbox fans are rooting for Xbox. And it's going to be hard to win over very many of the other camp. Pricing is a big determining factor. If Xbox is $100 cheaper, they're going to win over some PlayStation fans, especially when people don't have jobs, don't have money coming in. I mean, they've got to really be, they got to think about their next big purchase. So again, that's why I like smart delivery. If you're unemployed, for $60, you can play a game for a year or two until you can save up the money to buy the next Xbox.
So you think Sony will announce the price first and Microsoft will follow?
I think Microsoft's going to wait. Just wait them out. Microsoft may not announce the price until the launch date. I don't think anybody cares about pre-orders.
But right. Yeah. But if they're going to do pre-orders, you have to have a price. So you think? I mean, they're going to have to. You're just saying that they're going to wait. They're going to wait until Sony does that, and if Sony doesn't do that till the fall, you won't hear an Xbox price until the fall.
That would be my advice to Microsoft, and as you know, they always take my advice.
That's right. Well, as we say with Pachter, it's like often wrong, but never in doubt, right?
That's my motto.